For those who don't know me, I help female entrepreneurs who are struggling with perfectionism to overcome anxiety in 21 days. So, this video is something that I think people ask a lot. Will anxiety go away? And so, the short answer is yes. Absolutely, we can get rid of anxiety for good, but there's also a differentiation that I want to make is between like having like general anxiety disorder and just like being really anxious about things, or maybe like anxious that things aren't good enough, or like financial anxiety. And so those are kind of more situational. It's not like an all the time kind of thing. So I feel like they're two different things. So when you have anxiety disorder, it's really important to get to the root cause of why you're having this so you can address this, which is what I do with my clients in rapid transformational therapy. It gets to the root cause of why your body is holding on to this, why it believes that it needs it, and we're able to dialogue with your mind and get rid of it. So it's not saying that you'll never feel anxious again, but it's not going to be like an underlying thing that's affecting your whole life. Like you might feel situational anxiety, which is normal because you're human. It's normal to feel emotions. But you'll be better at dealing with it because you'll have the coping skills. You'll feel safe in your body. You won't be like in that fight or flight or freeze mode. You'll be able to handle the situation a little bit better. And also you can learn better like coping mechanisms and ways to deal with stress, because the biggest thing with anxiety is you're like, well, I'm not going to be okay. So we are able to instill that sense of safety and those grounding practices and learn to like work with your nervous system and install that sense of safety and security so that you are able to feel safe. Can it ever go away on its own? Like through mindfulness techniques and working on like your self-worth and your mindset. Mindset is a really big part of it because your mindset is just a way that you dialogue with your mind on a topic, and that dialogue with your mind actually goes a long way to creating your feelings and emotions or something. Because the way it kind of breaks down is like a stimulus happens, you have a thought, that thought creates the feeling, and the more you kind of go into that thought and like on that thought pattern, the more you're going to create like a stronger feeling for yourself, and then it spirals out of control really quickly. But through like looking at our thought patterns and starting to examine like, is this thought helping me, is this thought ultimately true? And that's where the meditation and mindfulness becomes really helpful, because it kind of spaces out that like stimulus reaction time. Instead of just being reactionary to the things happening in your world, you're able to take a second and be like, okay, what's the story that I'm telling myself? Like, what am I telling myself about this thing happening? Am I telling myself that people are going to hate what I've posted and it immediately just makes me want to take it down? Or am I telling myself I'm never going to get another client, and then you straight away go into that financial fear and that financial stress and anxiety? And realizing in that precise moment, usually you're okay. Like unless you're being chased by a lion, you're probably like some level of safe, like nothing actually that bad is happening in the moment. So that's why we need to kind of bring back our presence into the present moment and be like, okay, in this present moment, am I safe? Usually the answer is yes. And so from that space, you can start to make better decisions and think better thoughts that will kind of get you out of that anxious feeling. When you have an anxiety disorder, this might be a little bit harder, or if you have like a condition that's going along with it, like PTSD or depression, that might contribute to it being a little bit of a different thing. But this isn't to say that you still can't get rid of it with rapid transformational therapy. Like you can still fully eradicate this out of your body and not have that reactivity through it, but it's going to take a little bit more than like meditation and mindfulness techniques, which I'm sure I don't need to tell you. I have people coming to me over and over again being like, Kim, like I've tried meditating, I tried using affirmations, it's not working. And the reason that it's not working is because that's all in your conscious mind. It's not in the subconscious, and your subconscious is really controlling your programming and your behavior. So some of the ways that you can work through it are, like I said, meditation, mindfulness practices, really evaluating like the thoughts that you're thinking. Like, is this a thought that's making you feel good, or is it making you feel differently? And the thing about your thinking is it's always a perception of what's going on. And when you can start to realize that the story that you're telling yourself might not ultimately be true, is when you're free to feel like a completely different feeling. And your feelings are always a result of your thinking. So if you're experiencing feelings that you don't like or that don't feel good to you, I'm not saying we ignore the feelings. I'm saying we need to look at the thinking that's creating those feelings and noticing like, what is this thought ultimately true? Cognitive behavioral therapy is really helpful for this because it helps you to break down and analyze your thought patterns and see if the thinking that you're thinking is ultimately true, which it isn't. And when you can start to pick that apart, you're like, oh, these stories that I've been telling myself, they don't actually have to be true. And I really love CBT because we use it in rapid transformational therapy, and we use it together with doing it on the subconscious level, so you're able to see results a whole lot quicker. So if you want to chat more about how I can help you get rid of your anxiety in 21 days, you can use that link over on the side or below to book in a free strategy call, and we can chat about how I can help you get rid of it. So basically, to sum it all up, yes, you can get rid of anxiety depending what kind of anxiety you have. It might take a little bit of a different technique, but the answer is you absolutely can get rid of it. So I hope this was helpful for you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.